Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Friday weekly recap where we go over some past plays you could or could not have gotten to for the week that just passed. All right. Just give me a few minutes as always while I just send out the link to the rest of the community and then we can just get right into it. Of course, if you have any pairs, any plays you guys want me to go over, please just send it right in the comment section down below. And of course, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Just give me 1 second while I just send the link out. All right, link is sent out. Let me just connect it to my TV real quick so I can see the comments. All right, we're all good, guys. All right, cool. Let's just jump right into it then. All right. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna start with EUR USD first. Okay, just go down the line. So let me just get the date for the first day of the month. I mean, first day of the week. 1 second. So the 7th. All right, cool. So as you guys all know, we just came off a bearish week in the market. EUR USD obviously came off a bearish week due to the strong dollar. But now the dollar starting to gain lose its strength and starting to become weak, which is good for buys. All right, so that they're fun already. So now it's time for buys to actually take action and jump into this trade. For the long term or the short term, whatever you prefer. Just get ready because USD is about to tank. All right, usually about to tank. So with that being said, we did come up a bearish week. So we just broke like on Sunday, Monday, we broke through 1900, right? And then at 18,500. Okay, 18,500. So as you can see here, that's where it started off. The little rally that we are having right now. So the way you can get into this trade right here. Let me just do a little replay so you guys can see. 1 second. All right. All right, cool. So let me dumb it down to the 15-minute. All right, cool. So as you can see, I have my little markup, for the past support. Obviously, it pushed the support up from this, place right here. That's why I drew it out. And just in case I, enter this trade right here, obviously I wanted the stop loss to be under the last lower low, all right, or the higher low, or whatever, this last low. Okay, so the stop loss was under the last low, all right, and obviously it didn't come nowhere near that low, so you was straight for that buy, all right. So obviously, what time was this? 21:30. I suck at military time, but all I know is 20s and up are a good time to trade on the chart. All right. Um, so with that being said, as you can see this wick, nice wick right here. You can either go into this wick right here for immediate entry, or you could wait for a higher high that actually happened. Draw a little rectangular box around that just to signify the resistance around that. And then as you can see, higher high, higher low, like always. on top of that mid level. So once we get that mid level push right there, we got a nice wick, not directly on top of the mid level, but very, very close to it. So if you was at your charts and you've seen this, you possibly would have got into that trade just because it was very, very close to that mid level. And obviously, it doesn't have to come exactly at that mid level. It can come like, around that mid level to signify, the area around it, just to signify that it is very important. And obviously, as you can see, it is very important to the trade. So yeah, you could have had one entry right here or another entry right here, or both entries at the same time. At different times. All right. With that being said, it obviously broke the last high, which is good because you want to wait higher highs and higher lows. So if you guys actually missed this trade, right, another entry you could have got into, but it's not always promised, is the higher high, the higher low back to that last higher high for resistance, and then continue up to the next levels. All right, but obviously it didn't happen, right? It doesn't have to happen all the time, but if it does happen, you can get an additional entry, or you can just get your first entry just because, you was a little skeptical about the trade, or, you just missed a trade all in all. But yeah, like this trade right here, I personally did not get into it because, as you can see, I don't want to buy lower lows. I want to buy higher lows, all right? So higher low right here, and it broke this recent high, so this is still considered a high, not high low, at the same time. All right. So that being said, right, obviously the trade pushed up. And if you have this entry right here, I just suggest you just to leave it alone and then try to get to another entry so you can have more money going back up, and you have an initial entry. You can have that as a backup plan just in case, your second trades or your third trades don't even work out. You still have that, other trading profit. If you do want to take that profit out, you can, but, just write it out because that's your first entry. You don't really want to take profit from your first entry. You just want to, write it out. So that's what I'm doing personally. I have this entry right here, right? And I'm just writing it out until, whatever level it stops, doing this little rally at. But I'm expecting USD to be, very, very weak for at least 2 months, 1 or 2 months. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes. But now, as you guys can see, we broke 1900. If you got an entry right here, what time was this? I would not blame you at all because I actually got into this entry right here. And I experienced some resistance right here, as you guys may, experience some resistance yourselves. So once you get that resistance, obviously, then, expect this major level. But that's why I had this little rectangular box drawn around because I seen it come all the way down. It did stop me out 10 pips. But I seen it come all the way down and then went back up. So I didn't buy this one because it's a lower low. Yeah, it's a lower high actually. So it didn't even come back up to double top or, break that recent high. It came up for a lower low, lower high. So once it made a lower high, I still drew this little box around it just to signify, there's some type of support here. And as you can see to the left, boom, some resistance right here. So that's why it's always good to look to the left, just so you can, get to, you can see different types of zones that you can probably get into for the trade. So when it come down, right, as you can see, it matched up perfectly with the last resistance to the left. So it came down, support right here, and another support right here, which is a double bottom. As you can see, if I roll the tape, it popped up. All right. So you could have got an entry right here, but if you wasn't really, comfortable entering, attacking that resistance, I don't blame you. So what you could have done is seen this right here. Could have took your shot, could have not. That's with you. But wait for that higher low right on top of that major level, and they continue that joint going back up. All right. Sorry. So let's just see. Obviously, there's a lot of false, rejects and false breakouts during the week. Kind of pissed me off, but all in all, it was a great week. As you can see, kind of fell below there. But, if you didn't want to wait for that, you would have been saved. If you got in here, you would have got stopped out, right? I think this is when March 10th. All right, so the trade, everything was a little wonky at first, and then it just started to actually, do its thing. So if you got stopped out many times, you would have got back in once you saw this. So boom. All right, another false breakout. So that's why you gotta wait for wicks, guys. You have to wait for wicks. Even though it made a higher high, it came crashing down, passing this this major level right here. So obviously you need a wick 1 or 2. Even a strong wick, with a little body and a strong wick right there, you could have got into. But obviously, strong candles coming down with force. You don't really want to get into that trade. Obviously not. So you would have to wait a little bit more. Nothing wrong with waiting. It's better than losing money. You feel me? So as we keep rolling the tape. right? Obviously, we still have this resistance support that actually got broken, but came back up. So it's a false resistance. Support held, came down again. Support held. Right. So although the major levels and the mid levels are very important, you gotta have to realize there's certain support and certain resistance in the middle of the chart as well that you can go off of when you're trading. You don't have to enter there if you don't want to, but just know it's there and then know it's pretty significant to your trade. So that could be your stop loss. That could be you can put it under your stop loss. You can actually have it as an entry. And yeah, that's pretty much the two that you could do. So just be very, very, very mindful that there's certain support. As you can see, this is a strong support, even though it's not on a major level or a mid level. This is still strong support because many times it came up from this particular area. That's why I have it marked out in a gray zone. So as you can see, a giant wick right here, and then a couple of strong wicks following it up. All right, so let's just see how it went. Broke. Oh wait, I don't know if this was the day it double topped from here. But all in all, you would wait for a high, low, back to the major level, and then continue up. All right. Yep, and then it broke that high. Yep. So this is the day it started to actually act right. All right. Even though all these days was kind of wonky because USD still had a little bit of strength in the beginning of the week, and then as time went on, as the week went on, USD actually lost strength. All right. So let's just keep going with the trade. As you can see, I still have this marked up. You could put it above here as well. But I call this a little false high. Like I don't really like it. Even though it is a higher high, it didn't really make a high or low, so I don't really count it. So I just have this little zone right here. But all in all, you can still, put this as a, little resistance zone, just so like it came crashing down at that point. But you can obviously see with your eye if you don't want to put that resistance zone as well. And as you can see, touched that zone and then went up. So that's why it's very important, to not only have your markups from the major level and the mid level, but have your middle markups, available as well. So you can see the trade is going your way or not, because obviously you need higher highs and higher lows within the trade. So if you have these little zones marked up, it's going to be very, very, very easy for you to actually identify the high highs and high lows in case, you get a little confused about, the trade going on, because on a 15-minute, on a lower time frame, it's kind of hard to see, all right, cool, high highs and high lows being created because there's many candles. All right, so some people, not for me, but some people feel that way. So if you're one of those people, these gray zones or these blue zones or whatever you want to call it, these rectangular boxes, just to signify the importance of that area is very, very key to your trading. So make sure you guys do that from now on if you're not already doing so. All right, and then obviously we're going to be attacking this mid level. Hit that mid level, going on to 2000. Now, as you can see, let me just scale out a little bit. This is why it's important to not only know when to get in, but when to get out as well. Because as you can see, 2000, even 19500 was a pretty significant, resistance zone. But, it just broke right through it. But as you can see on the left, you could have had your TP at the mid level, or more importantly, the major level, especially because it's a 2000 level, mad zeros with it. So it's a very, very significant major level. And as you can see here, it was a recent support zone that could potentially be a resistance zone. So that could be your first TP right there. And once you take profit from there, you could probably get into another entry if it does break up, make a higher low, and then continue to trend going up like everything else. All right. Let's just see what happens. So if you guys entered at one of these wicks, right, you're not wrong at all. The trade did flop a little bit, but you're not wrong at all. This is the type of things you guys want to see in trading, right? Obviously, it's not going to work out 100% of the time, but you have to take a shot anyway because you don't know at all, all right? You just have to do your job, right? Higher high, higher low on top of the support is very key. So if you miss that shot, you're not really doing your job, right? Even though you would have lost money or, you had a lower stop loss and it's actually saved your account or save your trade or whatever, then you'll be fine. But if you had a little, 5 to 10 pip stop loss, then, you would have probably lost 10 pips, right? Nothing wrong with that. You still did your job. You can't get mad at it. It would have been different if you bought a higher high or a lower high or something like that, not even a high or low. So you bought the high or low, a lot of wicks on top of a mid level. That was one support for the left. Key entry, right? You're good. Keep doing that. And then the trade eventually started to do its thing. So let's say we could flip this right here just to see like the resistance. Yeah, nah, it's not really. Nah, never mind. Sorry. And I think it hit 2,000 for take profit. Oh no, I didn't. I'm sorry. So anytime you see, price just, farting around like this, and it's close to your, take profit. That's why I personally did. I just took profit from here. It's about 12 pips away. Just ask yourself, do you really want 12 pips? If you're up, how much? Like 90 pips? Yeah, if you're up 90 pips and, you're 10 pips away for your stop loss, and you see, trade, making a resistance right here, came down a little bit, another resistance, it's essentially a double top. All right, essentially double top. So the summer resistance right here. So if you want to take that chance and leave the trade, you can. But I think this was during a low time frame as well. I mean, a lower volatility time as well. So in that case, you just want to take your profit and run with it. That's what I did, and just wait for that 2,000 level to be broken so you can get to another entry safely. All right. So at that point, you have profit inside of your account, and then you can wait for another entry for another. I mean, you can wait for that break for another entry. All right. So like I said, I still held that trade from all the way on the bottom, and then got into extra trades as the trade went up. All right. And I think that was the end of the trade. What's it? Yeah, that was the end of it. So now it's all the way down here. I mean, I think it's chilling at the mid level right now. Let me just speed this up so I know. But as you can see, let me just stop this real quick. Yeah, so as you can see, like the grays the blue zones are very important with your trading, because now this is support right here. As you can see, support hit off, came back down, a double bottom, boom, buy that, boom, get in again, right here around the mid level. So if this mid level holds, you could probably front run it for Friday. All right, so you can front run it for Friday, get a head start for Friday, and yeah, that's pretty much what EUR USD did for the week. It's nothing too complicated. It did move a little wonky, but that's something you have to watch out for. All right, but all in all, EUR USD is starting to do great things for buys. So just watch out for EUR USD for the week coming up, and then you can get some long term plays, short term plays, whatever you need to do to get your bread. All right. So we're gonna move on to GBP USD. If anybody has any questions, let me just check the question box just in case. All right, cool. No questions. So on GBP USD, the date was the 8th. All right, cool. So this is a pretty easy play. GBP USD was pretty easy to work with. So obviously this comes down to your bias. If you're a buyer like me, you would have bought this support down right here at 3,800. Right, a lot of rejection, a lot of rejection, a lot of rejection. If you're a seller, obviously you're selling the top of this resistance. So obviously seller lost, take that L. Sorry, buyer gotta do what they gotta do. All right. So that being said, GBP USD actually shot up, which is perfectly fine. That's actually in my eyesight too. So like yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. So GBP USD shot up. You had this first initial entry right here. Then good for you, man. You did your job, and you're on the way to a lot of pips. So if you miss this trade, it's not nothing to be ashamed of or whatever. It's all good. This is your first initial touch. Now what you got to do is you see this resistance right here. This obviously becomes support. Big Giganto broke through that resistance with ease. All right, broke through that resistance, came back down for a lower high, came back up. I personally didn't buy this right here because I wasn't really feeling it, even though I have a little rectangular box around it. I still wasn't feeling it. And it came back down from this 3,900 level. As you can see, 2 wicks right there on an hour. So that means there's a lot of wicks on the 15-minute chart. And you get that higher low situation. So it broke through that range, came back to retest that range. Pretty simple, higher high, higher low. It took off to the next levels. Let me just scroll out a little bit. So as you can see, all you have to do is just buy the higher lows now. So about a higher low, came back down, a gigantic wick through 1.3900, and then just kept going up. Right. So at this point, you have to look to the left to see some challenges. Right. The mid level was a challenge as well. You see some support right here, but the real challenge was this 4,000 level. So you can see right here, one candle just tanked. Right. So this was my personal TP right here. Right. Came up. Another entry right here if you wanted to. Came up. One touch down. Oh, thank you. One touch came down. Okay. So, you have to look to the left. Like if you expecting this to be broken, you have to just, be very mindful. Either put your trade to break even or just take your profit. Me personally, I just took profit just because I was really, really, really worried about that level being broken. And obviously, just tiptoeing. Boom, just came down. So, just so you have to, put your take profits accordingly. Look to the left for your take profits. Don't be greedy about the trade. Be smart with it. Know your worth about the trade. Take more than 50 pips, 100 pips even, right? This was like about 200 pips. Yeah, 200 pips right there in the bag. So, know your worth about the trade, but also play smart with it. Know where you're at on the chart. So if you see a gigantic, push down from the same level, especially as a major level, just take your profit and just wait for that next high low situation. All right. So now, obviously, it tanked down. This is not sellers getting to the trade. Just realize that this is not sellers getting to the trade, right? Because sellers don't. I mean, they may buy sell that double top, the gigantic double top, but and all in all, like this is where buyers want to take their profit. All right. So if there's no buyers in the market, obviously there's no trade for buys, so we're just gonna come down. Maybe so some sellers were in it, but overall it's just buyers taking profit from this area. So as you can see, this is why it's important to keep your gray zones. So those 1, 2 wicks came up. Now you can wait for a higher low. Let me just put an alert there just in case I can get to it before the week ends. Right, broke through that resistance, came down. It might come down for a higher low because it broke resistance right here, right? So it broke structure, high, low, and then possibly attacking that 4,000 level just to be broken for another entry. All right. So that's I'm going to reread that on my Sunday pre-market setup where we go over plays for the week coming up. All right. So I'm just going to go more in depth with that. But that's basically what you want to do right now is for Friday front run. 3,900 is a perfect level to get into it for a trade just to start off the week. All right. With that being said, I'm going to move on to the next pair. GBP USD was fairly easy, man. It was like you had 1 or 2 chances to get into the trade. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're not doing your job. All right. It's either that or, you just need more help, more practice with us. That's perfectly fine. It comes with practice. So, just review the week, right? Just review the, past plays you could have got into and just replicate that every single trip, every single, trade you take, right? Just, be mentally prepared that you may not lose and you have to, see your challenges going up as well. All right. But yeah, nonetheless, GBP USD was easy bread. And now on to GJ. All right, GJ still very, very, very elevated. Okay, so let's start with the 8th as usual. So the difference between GBP, JPY, and all the other pairs, GBP, JPY actually came off a bullish week. All right, as you can see here. So GBP, JPY, if you started the week off at this mid level right here, you're well in profit. I don't know if you took profit or not, but yeah, you're making breach right now. So good job. It's up to you. All right. If you're not in this trade, it's okay. Just wait for the next available entry. But GBP JPY is very, very, very difficult to get into because it's so elevated and it's just really right in the 4-hour 21. I'll show you guys. Actually, I'll just show you right now. Actually, so the 4-hour 21 EMA. This is what you do when the trade is very, very elevated and it's barely making high highs and high lows. So it's just on a slope. All right. So as you can see here, the way you use the 4-hour 21 is only when the trade is really like sloping up like this, as you can see here on the chart. So boom, hit the 21, and it's just following. As long as it's above the 21, you're straight for buys. All right. So hits the 21, two taps on the 21. As you can see, I have a little resistance zone right here. As you can see, resistance right here. Drew a little line, came back down for that same resistance. That's where I entered after the week, for the next week actually. All right, so as long as it's making, simple high highs and high lows, you're still straight. But if you're really, really confused, like I was, just hop on the 4 hour time frame, put the 21 on, scale down once it hits the 21, get in. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for GJ. Like it wasn't really, a lot to get into the trade. You could have had an entry right here, right? It's a gray zone. Keep saying gray zone, blue zone, right? You could have had an entry, somewhere around the mid level, but a flop, obviously. But look to the left, you see some resistance right here. Drag it across, boom, boom, took off. Could have had a mid level right here, entry right here, and took off from there as well. Let me just hit the 21 off. So it took off from there, and then as you can see, it hit the 152 area, double topped, and now it's down. Same area around here, double bottom, boom, boom. That's why it's very important to just leave your entries. So once you leave your trades, 1 second. I don't know why it was locked. Yeah, like I was saying, if you guys keep the blue area around, on your charts, you're straight because past support can also be future support as well. So you have this double bottom right here at this blue level. You would have entered right there like I did, right? And then attack that mid level right here. You could have had a entry right here as well, a nice strong candle right here. And now it's just flowing up to 152.000. So if it does end up getting to that point right there and it does something like this before the market ends, get into it for the week coming up, because that's a fire firm right there. Anytime it does makes a high, low before the market's closed, it's a head start for the week coming up. So you'll be straight. All right. So that being said, that's enough for GBP JPY. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to move on to NZD JPY for the last one. NZD JPY is really playing with my feelings right now. So I just, broke even to it, and then I never got back in. So I initially got into the trade right here at this major level right here. As you can see, there's a lot of resistance right here. 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap. You can call this 4, but it kind of intertwined with it. So it eventually broke, did a little slope up. But this is why it's important to, see other support zones, because right here, you could add an entry right here, right? So you would have been, maybe 70 pips up, 80 pips. Yeah, nothing like too special, but this is still a nice entry right here because it was 3 taps as well. So it's still ranging around that level right there. So if you was a buyer, obviously you would have bought it on support. If you was a seller, sell it on on the bottom of the resistance, and then either way you would have won or lost. Obviously buyers won this trade because JPY is so weak. If you got an entry right here as well, you would have been straight. That's where I actually entered my trade, because I missed this entry right here. I was eyeing it, and then it did 1 tap, and I was like, dang, it didn't really consolidate. So I was just waiting for it to consolidate, and then it did a high, low. Didn't want to really get into that because it was too far. So I just waited for that break. And it did that break, went up 50 pips. I was attacking 100 pips, moved my stop to break even, and it stopped me out, unfortunately. But it's all good because I was all in the other trades as well, and they didn't really do anything. So it's still ranging a little bit. So if you were, a type of person that, stayed in this trade and then hit break even, just stay in the trade, right? Just stay in the trade, you'll be fine. If it does flop, just move your stop loss a little bit up, like 5 pips or something, depending where you entered at. If you entered right here, definitely move it to break even. But if you at like the 7,800 level, definitely move it 5 pips. Just in case it does flop down, because NZD is probably not that strong as the other pairs. That's why it's not really moving. So that's why it's very good. Another lesson for you guys to, keep in the back of your head. This is very, very, very important for you guys to diversify your pairs. So don't focus on, let's say you like GBP JPY. Don't put all your money in GBP JPY just because it's your favorite pair, right? Take half of that and put it to other pairs that has, GBP attached to it or JPY attached to it. So for me, I thought I was a GBP guy, but I think I'm a USD JPY guy. So as you can see here, I have EUR/USD, GBP USD, GBP JPY, NZD JPY. All right. So as you can see, they're all similar because they have USD attached to it, but the fronts are different, as you can see. So they're gonna obviously have a different strength. As you can see, NZD JPY flopped for me, but I had 3 other trades to back me up and actually, took profit on all of them, which is pretty good, right? If you only had NZD for example, you would have been stressed out because it's not really moving. And then you're looking at all the other trades. I'm like, damn, I should have been in those trades instead. But all reality, you should have been in all four of them. You feel me? So once you're in all four of them, you can have an easier mindset and be like, all right, cool. If two don't work, maybe the two other trades would have worked. If one doesn't work, the other three will work. If three of them doesn't work, maybe the one will work, because the one can actually, break even of all your trades that you lost, or exceed those break evens and actually make profit off of that as well. All right, so that's just another little lesson for you guys to keep in the back of your mind. But yeah, NZD JPY really didn't do anything for me. I'm sure it didn't do anything for you guys as well. As you can see, like it didn't move really. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't have anything else to say about the pairs. Other than that, it was a pretty weird week in the beginning. Toward the end, actually picked up, which is fire. But yeah, guys, just mark up your charts accordingly. Get ready for the week coming up. Don't take this weekend off. Obviously not. And I'll see you guys back on Sunday for a pre-market setup for the week coming up. All right. So if you have any questions, hit me up directly on the app. I'll get back to you, or just talking to the community as well. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right. So guys, be safe, study up, and then get ready for the next week coming up. All right. See you guys later. Deuces.